The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 has been a staple camera in my travel kit, and a few days ago I picked up the Osmo Nano. So today it's a comparison video. Will the Osmo Nano solve all of my content creation needs? And what is the best way to use these two cameras? Okay, so it is unfortunately windy today, so please bear with me as we are only recording today on these devices. I've just been running to do a slow motion test, my goodness me. The Osmo Pocket 3 records in 4K MP4, HEVC and H.264, depending on what your workflow requires. If I'm going to be posting on social media, it's generally HEVC, H.265. And I will say, I believe that you can only shoot up to 4K 120 in HEVC. I believe that is correct. I will correct myself now in the edit if that is not.
That is correct.
Currently, I am recording in 4K 60, and this, I believe, is a beautiful way of showing you just how good the Osmo Pocket 3 is. Even the dynamic range against the sky is pretty good. I'm also very sweaty. My goodness me. The Osmo Pocket 3 can also record in 1080p up to 240 frames per second. I guess if you're purely a social media poster or social media content creator for vertical formats, might come in handy for doing product shots or, I don't know, maybe really close-up wildlife stuff. You can also get several lenses that just magnetize on the front of the Osmo Pocket 3 that enable the camera to do multiple different things, such as macro or even telephoto. I think there's even an anamorphic magnetized filter you can get, I believe. Oh, and also black mist. And aside from 16:9, you can also do 1:1 ratio recording for square, if you are so inclined. Now, I don't usually use the active track on this because I find it's just very natural to be able to show you exactly what I'm doing. And I generally frame my shots just concentrating on my face anyway. But active track is indeed a feature of the Osmo Pocket 3. And obviously, because this is a gimbal-based camera, you've got a lot of stability. Even when running like this, I'm still centered. If you are so inclined, you can also zoom in without the need of an additional filter, up to, I believe, a 40mm equivalent in full frame. And the unzoomed in equivalent, I believe, is 20mm and f2, I think, f2.8, something like that. Welcome to the Osmo Nano. So, the field of view is a lot wider, as you can see. The dynamic range is perhaps not quite as crystal clear as the Osmo Pocket 3, but you can get a much wider shot. And I feel like the colours, they don't really require any colour grading afterwards. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's great for eye-catching vlog content. And this is held at the end of my arm. My goodness me, I'm currently on a hike and I'm so out of breath. Also films in MP4 all the way up to 4K 120, but it does not have a physical gimbal. All of the stabilization in this is done by, I believe the stabilization software they use is called Rocksteady. And I also have horizon balance on, so even if I tilt my camera, it's actually incredible. What an incredible piece of tech. I wish DJI would make a full frame camera. Can you imagine? Both the Nano and the Osmo Pocket 3 allow you to film in D-Log-M, but there's been a bit of controversy around D-Log-M, especially in the Pocket 3, where actually the normal color profile has more dynamic range. So do with that information what you will. Again, it is windy, unfortunately. This is wind reduction on in standard, and I believe it goes all the way up to more than standard. I can't remember what it's called. I'll let you know in a second. It is a gentle breeze in the air. Can you perhaps see the trees moving to indicate the breeze? Now, one of the features that I've gotten the Nano for is because it is waterproof up to 10 meters. It's also rainproof, weatherproof, dustproof. And I have a once in a lifetime opportunity coming up in November. And I've been looking for something additional that I can bring to that adventure alongside a main camera that also needs to be weather sealed. So as much as I love the Osmo Pocket 3, it is not rain and weather sealed. It is resistant, I would say, slightly, but do not quote me on that, and certainly don't sue me. So although the stabilization of the Nano is really good considering where we've come from, like imagine saying this like 10 years ago, being able to do this and it's still steady. That's bonkers. The Rocksteady does turn off in 120 frames per second, and that is kind of sad. So this is noise reduction set to high. Do I sound crisp? Does it sound like something that I could edit in post to make it sound a little bit less tinny and boxy, which seems to be what noise reduction does at the best of times. But I think being able to hear me is more important than the audio being crystal clear as in studio, because we're not in studio. The Osmo Nano definitely has a wider field of view, as you can see at my arm's length. It's probably equivalent to around 15 or 16 millimeters in terms of full frame. In terms of degrees, it's like 147 degrees. You can actually see, you know, quite wide. And the problem with that sometimes is that it can introduce distortion. Perfect for travel videos, maybe not if you want to be ultra cinematic. The Nano also has built-in storage. You can get a 64GB or a 128GB version, and that is exactly what I have got. And that's about 2 hours and 10 minutes in filming 4K 60, which is more than enough, I think, for a single day out if you're doing travel content like I am. Oh, we're very dark. Oh no! There we go, visited by the sunshine. Alternatively, the Osmo Pocket 3 has no built-in storage, so you have to get decent micro SD cards that can cope with the type of footage that you want to film. So I currently have a Samsung 256GB micro SD in this, and it gives me about 5 hours of 4K 60, which is, again, more than enough. But if you're on a multiple day excursion, you're probably going to have to download that off onto a laptop or your phone or some other device. Hi baby, hello. Join me as I sit upon this rock just for a quick rest in this hike. So let's talk prices. Prices. Probably the most important part about this experience that you guys are probably going to want to know, isn't it? Have I got some sort of Thomas Jefferson hair going on there? That's not fun, is it? Very unglam. Right, I have notes for this part to make sure that it is correct. So, the standard kit, not the creator combo for the Osmo Pocket 3, in the US from the official DJI store is $799. In the UK it is £489, and in Europe it is €539. In contrast, the Osmo Nano is, for the 128GB version, $329 in America, €309, and £559 in the UK. And that is what I paid, and it came with a plethora of additional bits and bobs, such as a magnetic mount for the car, and also this little screen underneath. So the Osmo Nano here I have just attached to, I've got a magnetic clip for my backpack strap, which has made a massive difference for POV style content. Also a protective pouch, and also a necklace that allows you to wear it about here under your clothes. And the best bit about vertical content is you can just do this. Now it's filming vertically. Amazing technology. For the Osmo Pocket 3 to film vertically, you just do this. And it'll ask you to stop, you click continue, and that's it. 3K resolution, 3K 60, perfect for stories, Instagram Reels, TikToks, even YouTube Shorts. I must say though, personally, I still like to film horizontal and crop in when I need to post something to YouTube Shorts or TikTok. I don't mind so much doing that in 1080p, which you can just crop in into 4K footage for. Instagram, I will make the effort to double film the content I think is going to do well on the Osmo Pocket because it looks nicer. Instagram, you can upload to 4K, 3K in this instance, and it still looks good. In fact, it looks better than good. Okay, so I think I have done the stats and the differences between these two devices justice. This is how I would use them. So today I'm currently on a hike. I have another hike video coming out soon in which I took my G9 II to a very special location and did some beautiful photography alongside learning to hike, because believe me, it is a skill. You need to know what you can wear, what you can't wear, what are the right shoes, what aren't the right shoes, what you want to take in your bag for weight and stuff. I actually do love the Osmo Pocket 3 as a vlogging experience camera. I find myself reaching for it a lot more than I would want to take my iPhone out, for example. But I think these two cameras have very different use cases. I think you can use the Osmo Nano for vlogging, but you wouldn't want to use the Osmo Pocket 3 for any action cam footage. Saying that though, it creates beautiful B cam footage. I've taken this across the world with me. Zurich, San Francisco, Sweden, and each time I'm always pleasantly surprised by just how good the quality of the footage is. The Osmo Nano, however, will be a great addition to my travel kit because it is waterproof. And because you can stick it to stuff and just kind of leave it, I believe the camera unit itself is only 52 grams. Whereas in comparison, the Osmo Pocket 3 in total, it's about 300 grams. I think it's just underneath that. But if every gram matters to your travel kit, the answer is obvious. I do think though, if you are a content creator or more vlog style content creator, either of these cameras are going to serve you really well. I think in terms of ease of use, without having to get used to a gimbal or how to shoot on something that is stabilized with a mechanical gimbal, the Osmo Nano might be just slightly easier for you to use, and it is more cost effective. And if you're an iPhone user, you have the DJI Mimo app, so you can just easily transfer across the video footage, change the way it looks, even add in a beauty mode if you want, do some color grading, and post it straight to social media. If you're an Android user, I think you could just connect it via USB-C, and it's like the same. I am pretty happy with both of these little devices, and I think you'll probably be seeing more of them as this channel evolves and as I get more opportunities with my travel, my photography.